Welcome to the Cardinals Stadium for CTN's coverage of Section 7 AA Boys Soccer Quarterfinals. Tonight, the number 4 seeded Coon Rapids Cardinals host the number 5 seed St. Francis Saints. Joe Yund up above the action and joined by former Cardinal coach Jeff DeJoy. Thanks for being with us for this exciting time. And Coach, obviously you had a lot of years on the sidelines. Talk about the feelings that are going through everybody's minds right now.
Well, playoffs is always a fresh start. It doesn't matter what you did in the regular season. You've got a chance, and that's really what you want to sell in the locker room. You want to sell in the practice field is that we put behind us what had happened in the regular season, and you got to sell the fact that everybody's got a chance, and year out, number 1 seeds lose to number 8 if you overestimate them.
Well, and coming into this one, the Cardinals the higher number 4 seed, but a better record on the visiting bench. The number 5 seed St. Francis Saints with 11 victories this season, and they're going to come in angry, looking to prove that maybe they were slighted a little bit. Look at the rest of the bracket. The winner of this matchup will face the winner of number 1 Duluth East and number 8 Cambridge Isani. Blaine got the number 2 seed. They're taking on Forest Lake tonight, and Anoka is hosting Andover. Always an exciting time of year, and a time you want everybody to be performing their best. A real hit to the Cardinals. Before the game even started, they lose one of their players to an injury. Mohamed Jasanek went down with a leg injury and had to be carted off the field. And that's something that is going to affect how they come out, and hopefully won't affect the minds of the players remaining on the sidelines for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things where you got to be a little bit flexible, and you got to be ready to go. It doesn't matter if you're the first person off the bench or the last person off the bench. You got to be ready to go when your number is called, and for somebody, your number is going to be called a little bit sooner than you think, and it's a big blow, but you know, I'm confident with Coach Marslick and his staff that whoever's going to come in and replace him will do a nice job, and maybe get a chance to show that he maybe deserves a starting spot next game.
Well, the Cardinals are certainly hoping they can live up to their higher seed. The Cardinals and the Saints take the field next on CTN.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
And we are back at the Cardinals Sports Complex. Coon Rapids jumping out early. We had a little bit of technical difficulties getting the cameras back online. Cardinals have put a couple shots on. Sidney Achi in the first minute nearly started the scoring. Then it took until just a moment ago for Gael Tombwe to get Coon Rapids on the board. Just 4th minute in, and that's exactly the start the Cardinals were hoping for.
Yeah, what they're seeing is that the back 2 from
St. Francis.
Yeah, sorry about that. The back 2 from St. Francis are playing real flat, and what they're doing is they're not adjusting, and they're finding that little diagonal seam, and 2 balls, like you said, 1 to Sidney and 1 to Gael, has gone through and kind of put them both 1-on-0 on the goalie, and the goaltender Deshane from St. Francis had a nice save on the first one, preventing it to go in just before it crossed the line, but the second one he couldn't get to. It was just a good shot by Gael.
And the Saints have been able to get down and get a little bit of possession. They attempted a shot. It was well wide, but Coon Rapids doing a nice job getting a lot of numbers back on defense and not giving them a chance to get real good opportunity. And that shot by Corey Harmon from a ways out goes well wide. Another goal kick for the Cardinals. We do have video, a replay, and there it is. That's how Gael, as you mentioned, got behind the defenseman, and then as he's being tracked down, just puts it past Deshane, and that's where we are. Gael Tombwe, just a great career for the Cardinals, and sadly coming to an end as a senior here. And he's been electrifying. He's been fun to watch. Of course, he missed a fair amount of last season with an eye injury, but he has been electric for the Cardinals this year.
Yeah, he's got one of those things that is real hard to coach. He's got a nose for a goal, and he's able to get off shots. And a lot of times you have people that are fast, or a lot of people that are good dribblers, but they don't know when to take the shot. And sometimes you hold on to it too long, and sometimes you never get the shot off. And Giles always had a good nose for the goal, and has been very productive in his years at the high school here.
Well, and on top of that, he's just so good at getting everybody else involved. He knows that when he goes out there, he's going to draw the best defender, and sometimes 2 or 3 of the best defenders. A shot by Achi just going wide, and it'll be another goal kick for St. Francis. But he knows he's going to draw a lot of attention. Then he knows that if he's got 2 guys on him, somebody else is open.
What the nice thing about him too is he doesn't run away from the ball. He checks to the ball, which has the effect of bringing the defense up on him, which creates more space in back. When you have a forward who's typically just fast and you like to just go with a lot of through balls, they tend to drop back more, and it's real hard to penetrate that space because it gets condensed. But Guile has a good understanding of how to play that forward position.
Good opportunity for Christofferson. LePage comes out, challenges, and takes it away right off his foot.
Yeah, I think as a coach, what you want to do is what just happened there. I think you want to get your goalie involved early. Nothing worse than sitting outside in a 30-degree evening here in fall and not touching the ball until it's too late. And sometimes, it makes it hard to get that first save if you don't get the first one real early.
Well, and that's, we were talking about it before the game. We had 60, 70 degrees just a couple days ago, and the bottom has dropped out. Fall is definitely here. And throughout the fall season, these guys have dealt with more summer-like temperatures. So not really an opportunity to get acclimated to the colder temps.
No, you hope that just their conditional base that they have, their fitness level is going to be something that transfers over. And these kind of evenings, usually you can run forever, and you don't get overheated or you start to sweat profusely where you need to come off or anything like that. So yeah, let's hope that they can adjust quickly and get some solid minutes out of all the starters.
Lynch tripped up, whistle blows, Cardinal free kick.
An interesting thing to keep an eye on, Joe, will be the back 4 for Coon Rapids. They play a flat back 4, which, like any system, has got its positives and negatives, but sometimes they tend to pull apart too much and not work together as a unit. And when you pull apart, that creates a lot of space in between, and that's what I'm going to be watching, is how their back 4 work together and if they are too tight or if they are too spread out.
Almir Begic getting some room and taking a long left footer. Going to go just wide. Another goal kick, and Cardinals will be just fine with that. Keep the play down in that end and keep firing away.
Yep, make them go as far as possible to get a shot off. It's always a good strategy.
Well, and again, you talk about that flat 4 in the back, and the Cardinals not really pushing any of those 4 defenders up into the St. Francis side of the field. Their forwards and a couple of midfielders are doing plenty of damage so far, keeping the pressure down there. Those guys don't have to come up.
No, and it'd be interesting to see because St. Francis is playing a 2-man front, and so they're going 2 against 4. So if it were me, I'd like to see them marking a little bit tighter because you do have some support that can be filling in behind you if you do get beat. But right now they're playing rather loosely, and maybe that's just the way that Coach Paco wants them to play. But if it were me, I'd like them to play up a little bit higher, like you were saying.
Begic in the middle, drops it back for Lynch, and he'll play it back to Simmons-Mensah. And that's when you have a team that's confident and working together, when they're able to move the ball backwards and be patient. It's so easy, especially with the nerves going in a playoff situation, to just try and do too much and be a little bit too aggressive. But the game works much better if you move it around, spread the defense out, and set up your attack.
Yeah, one thing that has been sort of a solid, steady thing that goes year to year is in Coach Marslick's system, where they're not real quick to transition, but they build real well. And if you look at the number of complete passes that they make, it's a real high level, and that's kind of a sign that when you can possess the ball, obviously the other team does not have it, and that always bodes well for your team for sure.
Tomboy trying to get around the corner. Shrugs off the defender, has some room, gets it back to Begich, settles, shoots, left foot, high and wide. Another goal kick coming up for St. Francis.
Yeah, I think Begich is going to have a big game tonight. I'm just saying, looking at the way the St. Francis team retreats, they retreat real deep into the box, and they're not getting the adequate defense by their midfielders, and Begich has been open quite a few times at the top of the 18 already.
Well, and he is, we talked a little bit before the game started, a really impressive sophomore, great addition to this squad. He's got good speed, he's got good feet, and he's got a good head for the game, good soccer IQ, kind of knows where everybody's at before the ball gets to him. And he'll be a big part of this team for the next couple of seasons.
You know, he's for sure one of their better players, and comes from a good family. I coached his older sister quite a few years ago, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and know the parents quite well. And he's just like her, just got a nose for a goal and quite good skill and quite quick and fast.
Mosier arguing the trip call, will not get it. And this is going to be a great opportunity for St. Francis.
Interesting to see how many people they put in the wall. So right now they're putting in 4, and then they're sagging off 2 people on the left and 1 person on the right here, and that's going to give away a little bit more room maybe than they want. That near post may be open, or that far post, so we'll see if the wall does its job here and makes it real difficult to get over and in.
Bakoya taking the kick right into the wall, so apparently it did the trick.
Yep, nice job. It's always hard to teach them not to be instinctive when that ball's coming at you, not to use your hands, and a lot of times they're locking their hands behind it so they don't get a handball called. Did a great job by the wall in that play.
Tipped out along the end line. It'll be a corner kick for the Saints.
So right now Coon Rapids, you can see, has got 10 people back with only Guile staying up high, so they're marking man-to-man. They're not playing a zone, and we'll see how St. Francis decides to attack it. They've only got 6 people in the box going against the 10.
Shot attempt blocked. Another shot attempt blocked. A third shot attempt blocked. That one blocked as well. Here's another one kicked away right at the line. And the Cardinals able to get it back out near midfield. That was Captain Alex Lynch right on the goal line. So basically 4 shots attempted. One of them got through on net.
Well, Lynch was so composed, man. That ball was going in. He just sat there composed and poked it out before it could go in and tie the game.
Well, we've seen a couple of times where Mosier gets back there, and he's done a heck of a job backing up his goalkeeper. And there you see it, right in the perfect position was Alex Lynch to make sure that Cardinals keep the lead here. 14th minute of this first half. Coon Rapids on top 1-0. This is a section quarterfinal, so winner is done. Winner goes on. Most likely will be at Duluth East on Thursday. Number 1 seeded Greyhounds.
Duluth's got another good team again this year, from what I understand. Talking to Coach Marzik, that he thinks that they're primed for getting beat. They got put a little string of victories together, but you got to get that first one before you get a chance to play the second one.
Nice steal on the far side by Halverson. Halverson on the run, doesn't have a lot of support as he attacks a couple of defenders. Mosier will kick it wide out the end line. Another corner kick coming up for St. Francis.
Again, there's that 2 against 4, and I think they got to work a little bit better. They're kind of letting it be a 1v1, and then one guy gets beaten, then it's another 1v1. Whereas they work together a little bit better, they can make it a 1v2 and make it a lot more difficult to get through.
That one went right through everybody and out the far side, and it'll be a Cardinal throw in.
Yeah, I think they had the short neck syndrome on that one. They kind of ducked down instead of extending their neck and putting that head on the ball and directing it toward goal. They kind of ducked and had it go right through their head, it looked like.
I know Katoya Kalisti was marking his man and just kind of stepped out of the way, let it go right on by and out the far sideline, get possession back for his home team.
Yep, why not, right?
Well, and I know also the Cardinals played the Duluth East Greyhounds, the top seed, earlier in the season. And talking to Coach Marslick, I think they lost 3-1. And he said, you know, even though, you know, it was a 2-goal loss, he felt pretty good about the way they played with them, despite the fact that they are, you know, such a highly regarded team. He felt that they pretty much played right with them. So he's, I think, looking forward to an opportunity to get another chance at him when it matters more.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things for a high school kid to do is keep that level of concentration up. And, you know, we're seeing it here early. We had some early domination, some real good shots on goal by Coon Rapids. And then now, you know, they're kind of settling in and not doing the little things that they did earlier. You know, Begich isn't getting the ball as often. Guile's not getting the ball on the through-ins like he got earlier. So they got to regain that concentration and put this game away before it gets too close.
And again, this is a team in St. Francis, won 11 games. Probably feel they were a little bit slighted to get the number 5 seed, and they come out with something to prove that you know, even though they're the quote-unquote underdog, they're a quality club. To get 11 wins, you can't do that if you don't have some guys who can get the job done. And they're going to come out here fighting hard, trying to get the upset.
I think the toughest part of each half is that first 10 minutes. You know, you always want to come out and make a statement that first 10 minutes, and you're kind of on this high, and you just attack, and then all of a sudden your second wind kicks in and things settle down. And I always believe that if you can make it unscathed through that first 10 minutes against a better opponent, then you're going to settle in and be able to play your game. And you know, Coon Rapids has made it through the first 10 without allowing one from St. Francis, but we can't say that's the same on the other side.
Well, and after giving up that very early goal, and then you know, gave up a great chance in the first minute, and then the early goal to Gael in the fourth, they have really been the ones bringing the pressure. Here's a shot, not a lot on it, deflected, goes out the end line, and no, did not get deflected. It will be a goal kick.
Yeah, what you're seeing is, you know, as that second wind is kicking in for someone, we're not getting as much midfield support coming forward. It's kind of a lot of Sydney and Guile getting forward 2v4, and we got to get some numbers up on the ball, both offensively and defensively. And I think if we do that, those scoring chances that we saw earlier will kind of show themselves again.
Pass up front, broken up by Tajon Simmons-Mensah, cleared out the far side near midfield.
We got to have a little bit of possession here. So sometimes, you know, we panic a little bit and we clear the ball just to relieve pressure. And I think if the communication gets a little bit better, there's time.
Oof, wow. That was a scary one. Went off the head of the defender and up and out of play. It'll be a corner kick, but nearly, it just barely went over the net.
Yeah, we have some bad memories about goals like that. Those are kind of danged if you do and danged if you don't. I guess the goalie's just at liberty because he comes out to cut down the angle. When that deflects, you're kind of sitting there in no man's land, and luckily that one went over. That could have easily gone in and tied the game.
Well, the Cardinals saw one like that last week against Maple Grove. Jared Haida trying to break up the cross pass, and it went off his foot and perfectly placed over the head of LePage. Had no chance to get to it, and that started the scoring. But you know, the Crimson did go on to a 4-0 win in that one. The Crimson, a very good squad, just one loss on the season, but definitely not the way you want to start. And the Cardinals fortunate that they did not have a similar situation on that play there.
You know, sometimes it's something like that where when you have a season that you don't have a lot of fortune, you know, it can start the old here we go again syndrome, and that can be so deflating to both your ego and your chances of putting together some good minutes. But so something like that, when it does go wide and it doesn't go in, it's just like whew, kind of catch your breath and move on and hopefully forget about it, not let it happen again.
When you talk about that, you know, here we go again. It's something that we've seen over the years from a number of different programs. You know, it seems that some teams just, if they didn't have any bad luck, they wouldn't have any luck at all. And but those kind of things, as you mentioned, those can really snowball. You don't want that to happen in a playoff contest. But fortunately, Cardinals able to dodge the bullet there and hopefully can regain some possession. But as it is, the last few minutes, it's been St. Francis bringing the pressure and keeping the ball down at the Cardinal end.
Yeah, it's been some sustained pressure too. You know, it's not that we're doing anything different. It's just that again, we're losing the ball at midfield. We're doing a lot of just clearing the ball instead of passing the ball. And when they are attacking, we're not tackling the ball at all. We're kind of just running with them. And you know, sometimes we dive in too late, and then they're around us, and they're, you know, even more dangerous than they just were. So we got to step up and get that momentum and play a little bit tighter and maybe a little bit more physical. I know Coach Marzik likes a physical game, and he likes to try to outwork the opponent, and I don't think that's necessarily what's going on at this point of the game.
You got to get possession to start. Got just about everybody back inside the 18-yard box to try and get that ball back. St. Francis able to control back out near center. Mitchell Bentley had it taken away from him, and now here's Gael and Tombwe.
What you're seeing too is when we're countering, I'm noticing that Gael is a lot more central than he was before. Early in the game, you had Sidney and Gael were real wide. They were making some good diagonal runs, and the ball could be put wide to the touchline where they could keep possession and move up. Right now, they're kind of in the middle of the field, almost like they're on a short leash, and that ball's more vertical up and down the field, and that's a hard pass to connect because one, you got your back turn, and you got to turn 180 degrees, and two, it's a very, very low percentage pass when you got to pass it up like that. So we got to get wider, we got to get a little more possession, and I think that'll turn things around here.
Achi in some traffic, had it knocked free, comes back out, and it'll go out of bounds. Cardinals with the throw-in. Wickland trying to get it to Tombwe behind the defense. Broken up nicely by St. Francis. And again, we see the Saints on the run. Once they gain possession, they do a pretty good job of getting together on the run.
Yeah, I tell you, number 11, Glenn Gaboya. Sorry, Glenn, if I butchered your name there. He's very dangerous. He likes to possess the ball. He likes to attack people 1v1, and he's got some real good feet, and has been able to get around a couple people, making that second defender need to come up and play him. And maybe if they can play him a little bit tighter and deny that entry of the pass, they might have a little bit more luck, because you let him play around a little bit, he's going to be something that we're going to have to contend with all game.
Play down into the corner for Christofferson. Taken away and pushed ahead by Wickland. Achi on the run. He's got speed. Trying to get around the corner. It's kind of taken off his foot, and he let it get too far away, and here come the Saints back the other way. And now the Saints running in. Sliding stop by Negretti. And the Cardinals able to clear it back out near midfield. Gael challenging, and now he'll get back up and get it. Trying to get it to Achi. That's stopped up by Peterson. Katoya can't handle the pass. Cleared away by Haida. And there's Achi coming in to take it right away from Derek Kelly. Saints able to recover along the sidelines, out of bounds. Cardinal throw it.
Yes, I think you're starting to see why the St. Francis team has 11 wins. They're not a fluke. They play some good soccer. They got some skilled people all over the field, and they're not backing down at all. So Cardinals are going to have their hands full this entire game, I have a feeling.
Mosier gets it turned back around. Here's Tombwe running to the corner. Pressured as he tries to get it back out front. Koji is shot, and that's going to be off the crossbar of the field goal. And it'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, sometimes those look like those are the easiest shots. All you got to do is put it on goal. But ball's coming at you, you feel a little bit of pressure, you lean back a little bit, and you kick the ball away before it gets to you, and that's what happens, it goes over the goal. It's never as easy as it looks on TV, Joe.
That's why I'm here and I'm not out there. You got to give credit to St. Francis. They have, since the opening couple of minutes when the Cardinals seemed to be in complete control, looked like they might be able to kind of run away with this one early. Since then, St. Francis has really stepped up their pressure and have kept control, have kept the Cardinals away from the net, and they have gotten some good possession time down deep in the Cardinal end and been able to get some good scoring chances, just have not been able to make one pay off quite yet.
Yeah, you are definitely right. I think what you're seeing is that at all the thirds of the field, you know, the forward third, the middle third, and the defending third, they are first to the ball almost all the time. I mean, they're checking back. If it's a 50-50 ball, they're first to the ball, and we're kind of back on our heels, and that's not the way that you want to play. That's not the way they played the first few minutes, and that's what happens is you're not going to get the ball back, and they're going to keep possession.
Lynch will play it back to Mosier. Mosier trying to cross field, but there you see it on those long passes. Stepping up are the St. Francis Saints. It was Andrew Peterson this time, one of the team's captains, breaking up that pass. And again, if they can just keep it in the Cardinal end, often that's all it takes. Keep it in the other team's end. It's hard to give up goals if the ball's at the other end of the field.
Yep, exactly. And their sustained pressure has got to be a little bit frustrating for Coon Rapids. They're at their home field, and you know they're the higher seed.
Tomboy behind the defense and trying to find some help. Begich. St. Francis got a piece of that. The Cardinals, no, they didn't.
Looked like it from here that they got a little deflection, like it should be a corner kick, but apparently the official saw something different.
Well, he's much closer than I am, but
yeah, we got old eyes, Joe.
That too.
Here's a good job by Alex Lynch winning the ball at midfield and sending it forward, but right away they lose possession, and St. Francis is coming right back again.
Haida stops up the momentum, but just across midfield, St. Francis is there to retake possession. Begich trying to get around Corey Harmon, and then got helped out by Katoya.
Yeah, you're starting to see a lot of standing around now, aren't you? We got to get moving a little bit. We got to have somebody step up and be the leader and want to hold on to the ball and let some things build up and get everybody involved. And right now they're a little bit too eager to get that ball to Guile, and then kind of everybody else is in a secondary role where we have to attack in numbers and more consistently.
LePage comes out and snatches that one just in front of Christofferson off the header.
I wonder if it's slippery down there. You know, with that last shot that Begich had that we thought got deflected, and then a couple people slip in the midfield. I wonder if it's getting close to that dew point where there's a little bit of moisture on the field and making that ball skip, and maybe tough for some of the spikes that they're wearing to get some good traction. I don't know.
Victoria out front, a shot, and just not a lot on it, and a pretty easy save for Andrew LePage.
Yeah, Hunter Doherty had a chance. He was wide open right about the PK spot, and ball coming in. He wanted to one-touch it to try to surprise the goalie and just didn't get enough on it, didn't get the foot behind the ball. Very hard to do, to kind of do a redirect from 12 yards out like that, but good effort, good pass, definitely.
Yeah, Bakoya is a nice player. He's definitely been around the ball a lot, and there you saw it trying to set up a teammate.
And he's very generous.
And here he is behind the defense with speed, puts it back out front, and this game is tied.
The linesman right away signals that it is a good goal. And again, like we had said, you know, he had the through ball through, and he was not a ball hog and tried to shoot it. He had a very nice pass to the far post, and the attacker got inside the defender, and it just had easy tapping for the goal.
Hunter Doherty one-touched it home this time, and just no chance for LePage. He had to come out and challenge Bektoa. And I'm going to butcher his name all game long, Bekoya. And Bekoya made a nice pass, and there to put it home is Hunter Doherty. We're all tied with just over 10 minutes remaining in this first half.
Yeah, I've seen a couple games that you guys have done on TV, and it seems to be a pattern when an opponent scores. It's because the defender's on the wrong side. As a defender, you want to be closer to your goal, and you want to be closer to the ball than the attacker is. And you see what happened there is Doherty got inside position, so he was closer to the ball, and he was a little bit closer to the line as well. And he had the defender on his backside and is able to shield off and make a nice, easy tap in to tie the game.
And now the pressure will really be on the higher seeded Cardinals to get things turned back in their favor. But the Saints just keep on coming. That one slide tackled out of bounds.
Well, anything that can give the Saints more energy, more enthusiasm, a chance that they have to believe that they can win is not good for the Cardinals. And that goal is going to be something that the Cardinals are going to have to fight through right now with just about 9 minutes to go in the first half.
Pinnock throws it into the corner. Battling there is Bekoya. Pinnock there to help. Coming away with it is Koji for the Cardinals. Kept it in along the line, right back to Bekoya. Bekoya trying to get around the corner on Haida, and it's knocked out. And this will be the 4th corner kick of the first half for the Saints.
Yeah, and every corner kick that they've had a good opportunity to do something with it. So we'll see if the Cardinals can react a little bit and do a little bit better job marking up.
Bekoya goes short post, cleared away by Mosier. And played right back to Bekoya, trying to cross, this time off of Mosier, out the end line, another corner kick.
Yeah, I think you're starting to see that Glenn is quite the player. Having not seen him before, it doesn't take a lot of time seeing him touch the ball to see he's their main cog. He sets up a lot of plays, and he's a quite dangerous player.
Gets it right back off the header. We'll play it out front again. Another one out the end line, another corner kick coming up. Just relentless pressure from the St. Francis squad here throughout most of this first half.
And when you're on defense, as long as they've been on defense, all you can really do is just clear the ball. And you look out at midfield area there, and Giles going 1v3. So, St. Francis is really doing this 7v8 or 9. So, we do have a numerical advantage, but yet they're maintaining possession and getting some good scoring opportunities. So we got to tighten up a little bit in back.
So whistled down a St. Francis foul, and I think you touched on earlier is really the key. They're the Saints are the ones attacking the ball. They're the ones coming to the ball. They're not waiting for the ball to get to them. They're coming back to it. They're the first ones on loose balls. They're winning all the short races, and like many sports, soccer really is. It's not a long race to the finish. It's a short race to the ball, and they're winning those races.
One of the things we used to talk about every day, every game, was you got to challenge. You don't have to win every ball, but you have to challenge every ball. And sometimes it's not the first person that wins the ball, but if you can challenge the ball, sometimes you'll take the other player out and the second person can pick up and win the ball. But when you're not even challenging, that second defender's worthless, and you're just giving them more opportunities than they really need to do some damage out there.
Haida able to clear it away, get it back up front to Tombwe, and they say he used the arm as he tried to trap. Dinsmore heads it down, and there you see it. It took a couple of hops and an easy play there for Wagenstein because there was no one there challenging the ball in a white jersey. And I think that's the perfect explanation. You have to challenge every ball.
Yeah, you can't give any gifts out there, And once you get people willing to go to war for you a little bit, that opens up a lot of things. Because pretty soon, if you go head to head, there's not a lot of people that want to keep getting bumped into or run into. And pretty soon those balls that you just have been challenging, you're going to win. And if you don't start with just challenging, you're not going to get to that point where you can start winning. So we got some work to do here, Joe.
Bakoya, another shot attempt. This one deflected out of play by Simmons-Mensah. And another corner kick coming up as we get under 5 minutes remaining in this first half.
So what you got is you got 3 Cardinals that are across the 6-yard box, and a 4th one is marking the only player there. So they're not going to concede anything in this 6. The damage is going to be done somewhere out by the penalty kick area if they're going to have an opportunity, it looks like.
This one deflected toward the net. LePage out to play it.
So there's kind of 2 schools of thought how to defend corners. You know, do you mark them early and run with them, and do you feel like that gives you an advantage, or do you kind of stay back and defend where you know the ball is going to go and try to just be there and have them try to go through you and win the ball that way? So both have their pluses and their minuses, and the Cardinals have elected to kind of play real high marking and maybe do a little bit of hand grab and clutching and not allowing them to get a free run to the ball. And then when the ball does get near the 6, we've got numbers out, you know, 4v1 back there, and so far it's been effective, but you don't want to keep giving too many more opportunities for them to prove you wrong.
Well, 7 corner kicks in the first half means they spent a lot of time in the Cardinal end.
Too much time. And notice the one of the big concepts is on offense you want to spread out, and on defense you want to be real dense and condensed and tight. And we're kind of just the opposite. We're a little bit spread out on defense, and they're spread out on offense. So that's one of the little battles there that we're not winning because of one of the basic principles of soccer, and that is to just stay tight and not allow those through balls in those areas where they can get possession of the ball in our end. Compactness is a big key.
Well, and intensity, I think, has to be the big key for the Cardinals if they want to get this turned around and want to survive to a semifinal round on Thursday. Here's a good opportunity for Achi across the left wing, and his shot well wide, not a play. Corner or a goal kick coming up.
Yeah, you wonder how much is going on in their minds right now. You know, they think, are we the higher seed? Did that get into their mind at all? And think, are they getting frustrated now because they're getting outplayed by a lower seed, or is it just something that they can put behind them and forget and just go out and play hard and get that tiebreaker and goal?
Well, and my bigger question is what changed in the 5th minute? The Cardinals came out, they had the fire, they had the possession, they kept it down in that end. They got one great opportunity and then got the goal by Gael. And since then, the Saints have really taken control. Was it a matter of the Saints being a little bit tentative to start and having nerves going a little bit and now have gotten past that? Or is it that the Cardinals came out and had some fire and were having some success and then kind of thought, oh, this will be easy?
Well, what I've seen is I think we're losing the middle third. Okay, I think the St. Francis midfielders are getting forward better than we are, and they're getting back on defense better than we are. And so we're attacking with really just Sidney and Guile. So we're going 2v4, 2v5, and our mids are kind of lagging behind. There's too far of a distance between our mids and our forwards. Now, when you watch when St. Francis has got the ball, they hold it up a little bit, they let it build, and now they're attacking with 5 or 6, whereas we're attacking with 2. So I think it's in the mid is where it's got to start. They got to start playing both sides of the ball a little bit better than they currently are.
Jared Haida will clear it away out of danger right in front of the St. Francis net as we tick toward the final minute in this opening quarter. We're all tied at 1. Section 7 AA quarterfinal. Winner plays in the semifinals on Thursday.
Look at the backside's 2v1.
And that's where they got the ball. Not much on the shot. A good job by Mosher to at least get a piece of it. And at least an easy save for Andrew LePage.
Yeah, it's nice that the ball got out of front of him a little bit. That allowed the defender to kind of close that space a little bit and put pressure on, so the attacker did not have an easy shot on goal, because that could have easily been a situation where they give up a goal in the last minute. Now they're down 2-1 going into half instead of tied or even ahead.
Page will let it roll in on him, and he'll now punt it away as we're down to the final 10 seconds. And it's looking like we'll go to the locker room with a 1-1 tie. And it'll come down to 40 minutes to determine who moves on to the next round. We will take a break. We'll be back with some first half stats and highlights. Hopefully get some reaction from Coach Mark Paco Marzalek. You're watching Boys High School Soccer Section Quarterfinals on CTN.
So we were walking to school.
I started thinking about lunch. Mom packed me turkey and cheese.
She's
I really want
smart.
cheese pizza.
Sometimes her mind wanders.
We should have a sleepover.
I remember saying, Laura?
I think I heard Mom say something.
The sign says don't walk.
Sometimes it's so overwhelming.
I really hope she doesn't
I
have
really
another
hope I
bad
don't
day
have
at
another
school
bad day at
today.
school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
A pair of goals evenly divided in the first half. The Cardinals, the number 4 seed, came out fast at the beginning of this section quarterfinal, and they put a point on the board in just the 4th minute. Gael Tombwe poking it past the keeper, and things were looking good early. They had the intensity, they had the pressure down in the visitors' end, and they had the ball for about the first 5 minutes, but then St. Francis turned it on. This is a team in the Saints that won 11 games this season, and you can see why, because they are very aggressive on the ball all over the field, and they've got guys down deep who can get the job done. Their goal came with just over 10 minutes remaining, even the score at 1 apiece, and now, Jeff, we look at it, a lot more numbers on the Saints side.
Yeah, I think that's what happens when you don't win ball. The other team keeps possession, and it's not that they're just winning balls, but they're winning them in their attacking third of the field, and they're getting more shots on goal. And you know, they had a couple close chances, if not an Alex Lynch clear off the line, and you know, a deflected header that could have won it also. I mean, they could be down 2 goals instead of being tied.
Well, and now you know what do you talk about in the locker room? You know, you go in there and you talk about getting back to your game and knowing that the next 40 minutes will determine your entire season. So we will take a very short break, be back with the second half right after this. You're watching Section 7 AA quarterfinal action on CTN.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
All right, and never mind the break because they decided to skip the final minute of halftime. They just started going as soon as we pitched a commercial. So here we go, and can the Cardinals respond? That is the big question. Will they be able to, shake off that first half, especially the latter part of that first half, and really take it to the Saints here in the second?
I think Coach Marzalek will say something about breaking the second half down, and I think he's saying maybe these first 6-8 minutes he wants to see a noticeable difference than maybe the last 20 minutes of the first half. So he wants to go out, he wants to send some messages, he wants to win some balls, and play with an enthusiasm that I think died down after we got our first goal. Well,
and that's obviously anytime you get into tournament time, nerves are different. I mean, the feeling, the intensity is different. You have a different nervous energy, and how do you play through that? You want to do really well, but at the same time, you're more nervous about making mistakes. And the Cardinals just have to look at it as, hey, this is it. We've got 40 minutes. We've got to go out and win this 40 minutes, or the season's over. And that's a big deal, especially for the seniors on the squad.
A lot of times you can go in and sometimes just break it up and kind of just say, hey, luckily we played our bad half. Now the good one is yet to be played. So what's happened is happened. You can't get back and do it all over again, but you can sure make sure that it doesn't happen again. So we look forward to a little more increased energy and some better support in the midfield, and hopefully winning some balls here.
Well, we see it right there with Tkach stepping up and challenging and winning that 50-50 ball. And now here's Sidniachi in the corner, getting it back to Dimitri. Dimitri a shot right on. Not a lot on it, but there doesn't have to be. It's a matter of making the goaltender play the ball.
It's a start, you know, it's a start. Now you build on that, and next time down you get a little bit better look, and you keep doing that over and over and over, and pretty soon they're on defense and they're on their heels, and then you know, good things could happen.
Elmir Begic trying to find a little bit of room down the left wing, and just wave after wave of red jersey coming over to defend, and it's great support from St. Francis, making it a little more difficult. But now out to Achi, who's got time, and his shot just wide, and a goal kick coming up.
Boy, heck of a job with Begic working down that left-hand side. 1v2, sometimes 1v3, gets the ball back to the top of the 18, looking like a lot of time, and unfortunately just shot the ball wide. Nice job for the white and red.
Well, and I think St. Francis has to be careful. You can't let that happen. It's not going to, if you leave a scorer like Sidney or a Gael that open and bring three guys down to defend one, you're playing with fire.
Yeah, you can only go to the well so often, and you've worked hard this first half if you're St. Francis, and you don't want to give it away early in the second half and have to kind of, you know, figure out a way to get the tying goal from there. So they want to continue where they left off, and the Cardinals want to pick up and be better than where they left off. So it's going to be an interesting half.
Well, early on, we see Coon Rapids really controlling it, possessing it, and getting it into the St. Francis end, but that's how the first half started as well. And then as we saw, the bulk of the period was played in the Cardinals' end. A lot of shots attempted. You know, anytime you get 7 corner kicks in a game is usually really good.
Oh
7 corner kicks in a half means you spend an awful lot of time in the attacking third.
Exactly. And I'm trying to see here how many times you got Alex Lynch and you got Begic, two very, very skilled players at midfield, and for some reason they like to play past those and try to be more direct and go to the forwards. And I think they got to get those two gentlemen involved in the offense, and that'll get St. Francis moving up, and then maybe create some more space where Archie and Guile can make some diagonal runs, maybe in back of the defense, and create a scoring opportunity or two.
There's Begic with it, trying some attention, gets it to Tkach in the corner, back for Lynch to take a long shot and just missed wide.
There's an example of those two very skilled midfielders that they got to get more touches on the ball. They are dangerous every time they touch the ball, and it's just criminal for us to bypass them and not allow them to get into the flow of the offense.
Well, and twice already we've seen the Cardinals getting it deep in the corner, drawing a lot of defense. The Saints defenders are very aggressive, coming down and trying to pressure the ball, and that is leaving guys open. Maybe that one from Lynch a little bit further out than prime scoring territory, but still a spot you can definitely put the ball away from. And you can't leave guys open to get good open shots from good spots.
No, I tell you what I'll do next time too is
there's a shot and a goal, and St. Francis answers just like that. Soren Halverson attacking against a couple of defenders, got all the room he needed, and he buried it to put the Saints ahead.
It was one of those things where we had a chance down our right flank, their left flank, and it allowed them to cut back inside of us and into the open side of the field. And as a right-footed kicker, that gave him a better angle, and he beat LePage on the near side for the second goal for the Saints.
There you saw it. He comes in. He's able to cut back to avoid one defender, gets past a second defender, and gets rid of the ball before the third defender in Ethan Mosier can come over. And now the Cardinals have an uphill battle to climb.
Yeah, they had just a few good minutes of sustained pressure that they didn't have for the majority of the first half, and now one of the first times down the offensive end, the St. Francis team gets a shot and a goal. So, they just got to keep their dauber down and try to stay focused and nibble away a little bit and make sure that they don't get the second one. We got to get that next goal and make it competitive again.
Mosier will be called for the foul. A little bit of body checking.
Yeah, a little bit of lost vision of the ball. He was playing the man. He saw his man check back, but he didn't see where the ball was. So when the ball went by him, it was all he could really do is either get beat or take out the player, and he chose to take out the player. No harm out there. It's just kind of a good tactical foul.
Gave him a yellow card though.
Ooh, not that good tactical, I guess. Okay, maybe it was too obvious.
I'm a little surprised. I didn't think it was, that blatant or aggressive. He just was trying to shield with his body. Put a little bit too much into it, but.
Yeah, we don't know if there's been some conversations between the officials and some of the players for, infringement of the rules over and over and over. But yeah, if it was the first time, it didn't look like it was serious enough offense to give somebody a yellow card. But that's what he did.
And again, you see the good boot from LePage, but no Cardinals moving toward the ball and quickly turned over.
No, and of all the people, you don't want Glenn to have the ball. I mean, he kind of sucks back in the middle, and I might think about maybe doing some directed punts more than going up the middle right to where Glenn is, because he's been a beast on the ball, and he's somebody that you don't want to have the ball at their feet.
Notice now with a 2-1 lead, they've sunk him back more into the midfield to put one of those higher skill players back at the back end or at the back of the midfield at least to support the defense a little more. And it's soccer, so real easy to ride it out to a 2-1 win. You'd love to get some insurance if you're St. Francis, but the most important mission now is just to make sure you don't give up that tying goal.
Exactly right. You take your best player and you put him back where he's gonna give you good pressure on the ball every time, and he's going to be just another body that they're going to have to try to get through in order to get a shot off and hopefully try to score. But with him in the middle, it's going to be very difficult. They're going to have to try to get that ball down the flank into the wide areas of the field where the space is, and they're going to have to attack from there instead of like they've been doing, which is kind of more direct up the middle.
Lots of space as Wagenstein settles, now plays it into the middle for Bakoya. Trying to cut back, broken up by Tomboy. Tomboy touches it up the wing, no white jerseys there. And the Saints will keep it in the Cardinal end. Hachi with a nice steal, little pickpocket move. Gets it to Tomboy at midfield.
Yeah, Guile passed that one a little bit early. You got to let that develop a little bit. He passed the ball when Sidney was too far back, and he had two defenders that were going to get to the ball before him. So he needed to hold that a little bit, maybe attack off the dribble a little bit, maybe change fields, allow that to develop a little bit, and then see if they can get across back to Sidney after that misdirection. But they are attacking, and they still got to get some numbers up front. We're not seeing the mids kind of in that attacking third or part of the attack like we'd like to see.
Oh, and this is going to be a dangerous spot just outside the 18-yard box, and this is going to be a great opportunity for the Saints.
Boy, this is right at the top of the 18. You go a foot any further, and you're looking at giving up a penalty kick with already being down one. So, if the wall does their job like they did the first time, we should be all right. Hopefully this is a 5-man wall, and they're going to have to be tight, and they're going to have to really be aware of the difficulty of getting that ball up and down in such a short distance. But the man over the ball, I coached over the summer, he does have a good shot, and he's able to bend the ball.
Wagenstein puts it right into the wall, tried to get to it again. Comes free. That one bounces around and cleared a bit by Haida. Stopped up. And the Cardinals able to get numbers and take it off the foot of Derek Kelly, get it turned around at least a little, and then the foul called against St. Francis.
St. Francis is playing real aggressive. I mean, they're still winning a lot of balls, and even when they don't win the ball, they're putting pressure on right away to the next person on the ball and making it real difficult. The Cardinals might have to go backwards and try to establish a little bit of possession in order to try to get that ball forward. So sometimes you got to go negatively or in the wrong direction in order to go in the right direction in order to keep possession. I think that's one of the things we're going to have to look for, see if they can find a way to get that ball to the feet of their attackers by maybe going out one way and then across the field before they go back in.
Well, and something you had talked about quite a bit in the first half, and then we saw with when Sydney was trying to get it ahead to, or Gael was trying to get it ahead to Sydney rather. You got to let the midfield build. While you are down 2-1 and you want to have some urgency, there's still a lot of soccer left to be played, and possessions have to be precious. You have to control the ball, and you've got to wait for help and support, and try and build and come down with an attack of 5 or 6 rather than 1 or 2.
And the mid's got the hardest position on the field. They play both offense and defense, and they put in a lot of miles. They've done studies about how far midfielders run, and they run up to 9 miles in a game at the highest level. And if you're not involved in the attack and you're just doing all that running, what you're going to do is you're going to run them into the ground, and then they're not going to be effective at all. So sometimes you gotta slow it down and allow them to get up into the attack.
Free kick from just on the St. Francis side of midfield. Simmons-Mensah puts a good boot on it. Gael can't get a header on it, still loose. Sydney with a shot from a ways out will go wide, and it was deflected, so it will be a corner kick. This is the first corner kick of the game for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if you got a couple big bodies up there. You got Gael, who's a good-sized guy. You got Sydney up there, who's a good-sized guy. Alex Lynch is real good in the air. Begic is real athletic, but looks like he's probably taking the corner kick. So, if they can put pressure on the ball, maybe have the ball bounce around inside that 6-yard box and have it poke in for the tying goal, that'd be kind of nice.
They go to Sydney in the back, a redirection by Achi, and a diving cover by the keeper, Duchesne.
Yeah, they had their chances. Hopefully they can get more chances and get that tiebreaker here. I think you give them a couple chances, you got some big boys that can do some damage on the ball and make this a tie ball game again.
Begic comes up to steal the loose ball, in on the attack, left-footed shot, a goal, and we're tied at 2.
Bingo, that's why you want to get the ball to Begic and Lynch right there. Good left-footed shot, beat the defender, got inside the 12, about the PK spot there a little bit on the left side. Good hard left-footed drive into the back of the net, ties it up.
Exactly 26 minutes remaining on the clock, and it was all just a good heads-up play by Elmir Begic. Stepped up and anticipated the pass, stepped up, took it away, split 3 defenders, and then a good, strong shot from in close, and we're tied at 2.
Just that easy, but sustained pressure gives you more opportunities, and more opportunities you get, just the math alone says you're going to get some more goals. So good job on the behalf of the Cardinals. Good job. Now we got to get the 3rd one.
Leave it to you, DeJoy, to bring math into the equation. Get that equation?
You doubted me. That was very good.
I've been known to be punny before.
Not on air.
There's another shot from Begic. This time, Duchesne goes to a knee to collect it.
Yeah, you notice in the last couple minutes, the ball has been spent most of the time down in our attacking third, and that's where we want it to be. So, they got a little bit of momentum now. They got to sense it, and they got to step up and really ride this wave while they got it, and not let St. Francis counter and break this momentum.
Koya pushing it forward, stopped up. Play it back to the near side where Halverson will try to catch up, but it's out of play.
Number 29, Benza, in for the Cards. Number 34, Callisto, in for the Cards. Number 6, Hunter Dory.
Be interesting these next couple minutes here. See what the Cardinals have. Just play the ball hard, like we said, first half. Challenge that ball. See if the smaller, maybe St. Francis team can get a little bit upset, a little frustrated, and then keep the ball down in the St. Francis third of the field and put some good pressure on their goal.
Foul called as Koch tried to get a piggyback ride in the middle of the field, and that's illegal. Can't do that. Cardinal defender fell down, gave an opportunity for St. Francis.
PK.
And that one is going to be in the box, a penalty kick, and that's huge. Mosher pleading his case that he got the ball first, falling on deaf ears.
Just like we said, you wanted to maintain possession and keep it down the other end, and you know what happens is the unfortunate situation of now we're trying to defend a penalty kick and keep them from regaining that one goal lead that they had just a short time ago.
Coach Marzalig wants an explanation. He also felt that Mosher got the ball first and should not have been a tripping penalty inside the box.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, when you
look at it,
when you leave your feet, when you go down, there's always that risk of tripping somebody. And you know, he got the ball pushed past him, and then he looked like he did clip the heels, whether it was you know, intense enough to draw a foul, but you know, you can see that right there. It was tripped, and it looked like a good call, unfortunately.
And they will let Glenn Bakoya handle the penalty kick.
Which way do you think he's going to go, Joe?
I'm thinking he goes to his left.
I'll go to his right low. We'll see what LePage guesses.
LePage is frozen. He does go to his right, and he scores. And it's a 3-2 lead.
Well, they got to just forget about it. Like we talked about earlier, they have to have a short memory, and now they got to just push forward and do everything that they can to get this thing tied up once again.
And such a letdown after they had come back, got the tying goal just a few minutes earlier, and kind of had momentum going back in their direction. And then you get the PK call, and they put Bakoya on it, and he delivers. And that's one thing I've always wondered, why, and maybe there is no real reason. Why is it you can decide whoever gets to go take that PK? Why is it not the player who was fouled?
Well, there's a couple schools out there. One, you don't know if you know, they're hurt. You don't know if they're a little bit winded after trying to make a run, and you want to have a fresh mind and a fresh body over the ball. And sometimes you get somebody who's real good and is real confident on the ball, and you want to just have you know, the person that's got the confidence shooting, because if you don't have confidence, you definitely don't want to be at the PK line taking that PK. Any doubts in your mind at all means you're probably the wrong person to be there. Well,
it just it's always seemed kind of strange to me, because you know, if in hockey, if a penalty shot is called, it's the guy who got tripped, unless he's injured, in which case you are allowed a substitution. In basketball, the guy who's fouled goes to the free throw line. Could you imagine if they went, oh, there's a foul, who's your best free throw shooter? Do you want him to go take your free throws?
No, you got a point there. And in the big leagues, the person that got taken down would have now gotten an assist on that goal.
Oh, really?
Yep. So I'm not sure if high school does that. I know we have, and I don't know if it's legal or not, but we've always given an assist to the person who drew the foul, and just like the big leagues do. But in any way, it was a well-taken penalty kick. Unfortunately, when you're a goalie and you guess one way and momentum starts going that way, if the shot goes back the other direction, you're, like you said, frozen, and all you can do is just stand there, unfortunately. And he guessed wrong, and it was a good low finish, and we got our work cut out for us now.
Just about midway through this second half, we had a 1-1 score at the break. The Saints got their first lead of the night just about 6 minutes into the second half. The Cardinals came back to tie it, but then 3 minutes later, not even 3 minutes later, the Saints get a PK and take the lead once again, now 3-2. And the Cardinals have to be able to respond.
They have to regroup, and like we've been saying there, you know, they're going to have to use their midfield a little bit. They are very skilled people, and they are very dangerous on the ball. You saw Lynch take a good long shot that was close to scoring. You saw Begic get the tying goal. I think we want to maximize the number of touches they get and then allow some space to be created where maybe Guile and Sidney can do something in back of the defense.
Lynch will play it across. Simmons-Mensah trying to get it ahead to Begic. Like Begic was pulled down, but and now the whistle blows.
Yeah, they were seeing if he was able to maintain possession, because if he was able to maintain possession, they don't give him the foul and they'll allow him to continue on with the ball as if there was a better opportunity to proceed with other than a free kick.
And for the Saints, they'll be more than happy to just kind of clear it down, keep it in the Cardinal end. Negretti settled, but then had it stripped away from him by Doherty along the sidelines. Doherty had the first goal of the contest for the Saints, and now he's going to be whistled for the foul as he runs over Ethan Mosier.
Yeah, we'll see how St. Francis plays with the lead. You know, it's easy to get sloppy, and if you're just going to start clearing the ball, you're going to give the Cardinals a chance to regain possession, and that's probably the worst thing you can do. I try to find Bagoya there and try to get the ball at his feet as often as possible and try to keep possession and win some balls like they were doing in the first half.
Well, again, they'll keep Bagoya back in the back half of the midfield, and it's smart play when you're playing with the lead.
He's right in between our two forwards, so depending on which side of the field the ball goes, he's going to help out with that near side, the strong side forward, and provide a little bit extra assistance on them, and that doesn't bode well for us.
And again, that makes it even more important, as you were talking about, to get the midfielders more involved, because you're going to need more numbers as they're sinking more of their skill players into the back end to try and shore up their defense. You've got to have a more varied attack and more numbers.
Yep, and they're plain and simple. Somebody's got to be open. If they're double teaming somebody, that means there's somebody that does not have a mark on them. And if we can figure out who that person is that does not have the mark, and we can get them the ball consistently, we've got a really good chance to regain that third goal.
Begic tripped up, and this will be a good spot for a Coon Rapids free kick.
From this side, you'd like to see Alex Lynch maybe try to bend it to that far post. It's got an ideal location where that can happen. If he can get a little bit of instep and kind of hook it to that upper 90 at the far post, he's got a good opportunity to score. I know he's got the skill set to do it. I know he's got the foot to do it. Now it's just a matter of if he can do it when it counts right here.
It's retying the shoes. Make sure that
yeah,
nice and tight.
Yeah, you don't want your shoe coming off. That'd be kind of dorky.
See if they do indeed go direct. It will be Lynch taking the ball, and he does go direct to the short side corner, and he scores, and we're tied again.
Yeah, Lynch has got that foot, and you saw him bend it. I thought he'd be going to the far post, but he beat him on the near post. It was a good, well-driven ball. You saw the spin on the ball, making it hook in, and like we said, you get Begic and Lynch the ball, and good things happen. It was a tough save for Cody Deshane. He was guarded against that far post. He had to come across the face of the goal to the near post, and technically your wall is either going to take away the near post or the far post. I'm not sure if there's some miscommunication there, as if it's just a real great shot by Lynch. But anyway, we've tied it back up. It's 3-3.
Bigger score than the Vikings and Bears had at halftime last night.
Probably more exciting too, sadly.
Oh, far more. There's a reason I fell asleep.
Don't have to take Somonex anymore.
Notice who's back up front for the Saints, Bagoya, and he is tripped up, and here's going to be a great free kick opportunity for the Saints.
He's just like he's on call. You need something, you need to play defense, he'll play defense. You need a goal. Right away, he's with the ball at his feet getting forward. This is about the same place that Lynch just scored from. We'll see if St. Francis can do anything.
They tried to catch him sleeping, a little quick pass, trying to get Wagenstein around the corner. The Cardinals fortunately able to snuff it out. Callisti gets it back ahead for Achi. Achi ahead now, and Gael in alone slips it past the keeper. The Cardinals are back in front, 4-3.
Yeah, poor goalie was kind of the victim of some bad defending there, and then he came out and to top it off, he got nutmegged and right through his legs and an easy tap in, and now the Cards have fought back from 1 goal down. Now they got a 1-goal lead.
You're at the mercy when you have a player like of Gael's talent caliber coming at you. Not a lot you can do. You come out, you challenge, you hope you can get a piece of the ball. And
yeah, you really got to sell yourself, and there's not much reward in it other than stopping a ball, because you're going to get hammered either way. But if you come out and somehow get real big and maybe tackle the ball, try to get that ball as if it was a fumble, and like the NFL, you just got to go down and cover that thing. That's really the only thing you can do. And you know, you got a big guy like Gael coming down on you like that, and it's kind of easy to see why you're kind of not so eager to go in and try to take it off his foot. Now we'll see how I guess St. Francis responds to being down 1. I bet you Mr. Kaboya there is going to be involved quite often in the attacking third.
Saints trying to push it ahead, now playing it back is Halverson. Down the left wing comes Wagenstein. It's tipped away out of bounds. Gael will get a rare breather as Koji comes on to replace him.
Well, now you're at the kind of the whole polar opposite of what we were just talking about. Now you got St. Francis that just had the lead and gave up 2 quick goals, and now what's going on in their brains? You know, how are they going to respond to giving up 2 goals in a quick succession, now being down 1? We talked about that being with Coon Rapids, and you see that they were able to fight back and get 2, and now will St. Francis do the same thing?
Placing that free kick way back from where the foul occurred, but yes. 2 guys battling for the ball. They call the hold against St. Francis. Alex Lynch will put it into the scrum, and the Saints first ones to get the ball and get it back out near midfield. And here comes Bakoya down the left wing. Cardinals defense collapses. He's trying to cut it back out front. Got it to Harmon, but it was taken away quickly and cleared back up near midfield. Good effort down the sideline by Peterson, but can't keep it in. Did play it out off the Cardinals.
Looks like we got Lynch sitting back a little bit further than he was earlier, kind of like what Glenn was doing, and we'll see if we can quickly counter and maybe get somebody up top and get another good look at goal here. Lynch definitely has the ability to feed numerous ways of setting people loose on the attack, and maybe he can do it from more of a defensive position than an attacking position.
Simmons-Mensah trying to get the ball free. Saints able to bring a lot of attackers, and now cleared up field.
Interesting to see how kind of the ebbs and flows of a game can take place. You know, we look so bad for a period of time, and then you see they put a little bit of effort into it and win some balls and make some breaks for themselves, and all of a sudden it's a whole new ball game.
Well, and things can change so quickly. You know, we saw the change when Begich just stepped up and stole a pass, came in and tied the game, and then it turned back the other way on the penalty kick. But the Cardinals, to their credit, did not hold their, hang their heads or anything like that. They came right back on the attack, and they got it to their most lethal weapon, and he took care of business, got him back even. And then just 90 seconds later, well, I suppose Alex Lynch got him even with the free kick. And again, that was based on pressure. And then they get it to their big weapon, and Gael, just 90 seconds, those two goals, 90 seconds apart, and Gael put them on top 4-3. His second of the contest.
And I think you're seeing a kind of a common thread with all those goals you just mentioned, and that is the effort. The effort is up from where it was in the first half, and you're getting people taking on the defender, and you're not afraid to take a shot and see what happens. And you're taking some good risks, and you're being rewarded for those risks, and they've given you momentum back and the lead as well.
Only one team gets to play on Thursday. Right now, it's the Cardinals, the number 4 seed, trying to hold on to that 4-3 lead, but I guarantee there will be a hard push from the Saints. We've seen them put a lot of pressure at the Cardinal end throughout the contest.
Yeah, there's still a lot of time left, and I would not be surprised if LePage is going to have to come up big and save them, because this game is just too unpredictable the way it's been played for the first 70 minutes.
This one played through the middle. Sidney trying to get there, tripped up. And they're going to call this incidental contact. No foul is going to be called. Both players went down. Actually a little slow to get up.
Yeah, he waved his hands to stop time as if it's a possible injury concern here, and just to see what it looked like. But there's a thing called obstruction, where you're kind of getting in the path of the other runner and kind of making it impossible for him to proceed in his run that he was doing. That looked like that could have been an obstructed call right here, because he's definitely not going for the ball. You can see a little tug on the jersey, and I think that was more of a foul that they got away with than what was called.
Well, I think the Cardinal coaches wanted that explanation. How is that one not a foul when you called a similar trip at the other end inside the box?
Yeah, it was definitely not this call the same as it was against us in the 18-yard box. And sometimes you get some calls and sometimes you don't, but this is one of the times, unfortunately, we did not, when maybe we should have.
Tkach at center field for the Cardinals. Will play it to the near side for Katoya Kalisti. Ahead for Achi, can't control it. Here comes Gael racing in and forcing it toward the net, and it went out the end line. Out of play, a goal kick coming up.
I'm seeing that they put Bakoya a little bit higher than we've seen him up to this point. He is really on the kind of pushing the limits of the back four of our back four defense here, and he's not in the midfield where he's been kind of a creative genius and kind of a destroyer, and it looks like they're going to try to hope that somebody else can get him the ball and maybe he can finish off it instead of him creating for somebody else to finish.
Well, and again, you put your highest skilled players in the positions you need them most right now. The Saints need a goal, so they've got Glenn Bakoya up front.
They're going to need a little bit of support before they can get him the ball. They just can't go direct, because he's going to be going 1v4 back there if he stays high. And like we talked about with the Cardinals, if you can get the midfield involved, kind of send it going backwards and then kind of change fields maybe and allow some things to develop, I think that could be effective. But if they're going to just go straight for him, I think it's going to be a difficult time to try to get that goal that they're looking for.
Well, and look who he's got company.
He's got a lot of company.
Well, Gael is back playing defense and had been marking him, but here's Bakoya, and Gael comes back to help out.
Yep, I think similar to what they did with putting Bakoya back there, we got Gael back, and big strong guy that can win some balls, and maybe all he's going to do is mark Glenn 1v1 and just harass and make it difficult for him to do anything when the ball is in that area.
Certainly a strategy that that I might employ is somebody just follows number 11 everywhere he goes. Just be in his back pocket and make someone else beat you.
Yep, I think that's a great strategy.
Here's his shot. LePage dives, makes the save.
That's a good save. You know, get him back involved in the game, and even though it wasn't particularly well struck, it was a low shot that was going to the corner, and you know, kind of keep his attention in the game and not lose focus and give them a cheap one.
Cardinals, while they want to be defensive minded, they really at this point get the ball to the other end of the field.
Exactly. Yep. Make it as long as possible.
So much easier to defend when the ball's 120 yards away.
Yep. Yep. Not too many people can kick the ball 80 yards and score, so you got your chances are pretty good if you can keep it down in the other end. That's for sure. St. Francis is now pushed up that with Glenn going up forward. They're now playing a 3-forward system, and we'll see how they respond in the midfield. When you lose a midfielder, again, you're forced to kind of bypass the mid on your passes from the defense, and that makes a lot of difficult ball touches that the forwards are going to have in order to try to bring that thing down and get a shot off. So we'll see if they bring in maybe a defender up to kind of control that hole that's missing from Glenn going forward, and see if they can hold the ball a little bit. Right now they got us back on our heels a little bit with kind of pushing forward, but we're bending, but we're not breaking at this point in time.
And again, they got a good speedster in Sidney Achi up front, really the lone forward at this point for Coon Rapids, and they just keep getting him the ball and see if he can create. He's got skill, he's got speed, but yeah, he's going to need some support. They are still keeping 3 defenders back there.
Yep, and they're going to want to always have at least a +1 situation.
There's an opportunity. LePage comes out and scoops it up in front of Halverson. It was a great pass from Bakoya and nearly sprung Halverson just a little too much on it.
Yeah, that could have been dangerous. So lucky LePage was on his horses, getting off his line and coming out and get that ball before something bad happened.
Cleared away out the far side by Lero.
You can see they're trying to stretch out the field on this side right now. You've got this weak side of the field. They're trying to stretch out and create space where Doherty, their number 6, and has got some opportunity at the far post should they be able to get a cross off. So they're trying to pull the Cardinal defense out wide, and you know, that's not a position that they need to be in. That guy's not going to score. I'd have him kind of suck back in. And
Bakoya going straight at the net. LePage makes the save and scrambles to get it in front of Halverson, who was crashing for the rebound.
Nice job by LePage using his height and aggressiveness to get that ball before the St. Francis players were right there waiting for putting it in the far post. That was close.
Achi down at the other end trying to make something happen and just misses wide. Thought Duchesne got a piece of it, but not the case. It'll be a goal kick coming up. Ran into Duchesne pretty hard.
Yeah, they were trying to counter quickly, and Sidney's speed gave him that opportunity, and that's all they're trying to do is just counter. That's all they want is just one, make them work. Keep the ball out of the feet of the St. Francis players.
Tombway slid tackled and played it out, and then was kicked as Doherty got up to walk away. He asked the ref, "Hey, what was that?" Ref wasn't watching. Another look at it. It's shielded by Gael's body, but Gael being tended to now, getting a cramp stretched out.
Yeah, it looked like the St. Francis person didn't like the fact that Guile had left his feet and tried to get a sliding tackle, but it was, even though from behind he did get all the ball, and the contact was made by the St. Francis player running over Guile after the ball was already gone. So definitely a clean play, no foul on the play. Whether he liked it or not, it was a good play on Guile's part.
Well, they will call the foul on Guile.
And now they're calling the foul.
So he grabbed him.
Looked like a good play. I'd pat Guile in the back for that. I'd say well done.
Bekoya trying to play it into the near side corner, just put too much on it on the end line, and a corner kick coming up. Cardinals with just 8 shots attempted and 2 on goal in the first half now have 20 and 9.
Yeah, it's been a different half than the first half was, and you know, you get a little bit of momentum. We talked about the wave of momentum turning, and if you can ride that wave and make some things happen, sometimes all you got to do is play about 5 good soccer minutes and a half, and that's all you need to be victorious. And Cardinals have played more than 5 and definitely come out the second half playing like they had hoped to play in the first half.
Foul called right there on Mosier going up for the 50-50. The free kick right at LePage. He takes it in. Now it's
he's signaling indirect for something. He had his hand in the air. Now he's stopping the clock.
Looks like it's going to be another opportunity for St. Francis.
Interesting. It looks like they're giving a free kick. He had his hand in the air as if this is going to be indirect. So a dangerous situation with.
Well, and it's inside the box too.
Yeah, so definitely it's indirect then. You got 2:49 to go, and the ball is about 17 yards from your own goal, indirect. So they'll probably do a quick tap, and then the second touch will be the shot on goal. So we got to step up.
There's the tap. There's the shot. It's wide for Bekoya, and a goal kick for the Cardinals.
The Wall did a real good job there on that first touch. They got off their line. They challenged that shot so that there was no angle to shoot that ball toward the goal and forcing it to go wide. So nice job, Cardinal defense.
Number 10, Matumbe back in for the Cards.
We got all kinds of soccer balls. Taking their time. Wait, what? Weren't sure who was going to throw it in and which ball they were going to play.
Yeah, I think if you're Coon Rapids right now, what you want to do is just
take your time.
You want to try to possess that ball if you can, but if the slightest sense of pressure on you, you want to get that thing wide and as far as you can kick it. It doesn't matter if it goes out of bounds. It's going to take 15, 20 seconds off the clock. If you kick it over the end line, it's going to take even more time. So you want to just kick that thing as far as you can kick it and use the time that they're going to have to need to fetch that ball.
Played in behind the Cardinal defense. Simmons-Mensah will shield the ball so that his keeper LePage can scoop it up. Down to the final 90 seconds. Coon Rapids hanging on to that 4-3 lead. It's been an exciting second half. It started 1-1. Saints went up 2-1. Cardinals tied. Saints went up 3-2. Cardinals came back to tie and then took the lead on a goal by Gael Tombwe, his second in the game.
Yep, and they're going to have to defend maybe with 10 or 11 people this last minute because they got exactly a minute to go and the ball's in their defensive third, so they got to make sure they clear the ball out of the third, not take any risky chances, and try to be smart with the ball when the Saints recover it.
Clock stopped. Why did the clock stop?
They must have deemed that the substitution was done in order to, take time off the clock. And if they figure it's a stalling tactic. They can stop the clock. It doesn't happen very often, but that's maybe what they deemed.
It is a stall tactic.
Of course it is, right?
It's part of soccer strategy when you have a 1-goal lead.
Take off the person on the far side of the field, make them run all the way across the field. You get 20 seconds off the clock at least for that. You got 30 seconds to go now with the throw, and you got
they just. You're gonna give him a yellow card for that? Huh. Negretti played it out of bounds and then booted it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you're here, Jeff, to explain this to me. Because if you weren't here and it was Howie and I as usual, we would have no clue what's going on because it's soccer and we don't really know much about the game, and especially the intricacies. Because that's again, that's soccer strategy.
Yeah, that's just
take your time, and that's not soccer strategy when you're losing, is to fumble the ball and take your time throwing it in.
Right.
Beautiful bicycle kick by Gael. Will get it deep into the end.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Buzzer will sound. The Cardinals will win. They were calling a penalty on a foul on Gael for the bicycle kick as a dangerous play. I assume.
Yeah,
is what he was calling for.
That's one of those things where it's kind of showboaty. It was a nice clear, and if the defender, the St. Francis person, was already there, then it would be a foul. But if he stuck his head in after the fact, there probably wasn't a foul. Either way, the Cardinals come away with a nice 4-3 win.
Well, and they have to really be thanking their lucky stars, because this one easily could have gotten away from them. But hats off to the Cardinals for coming back and winning the second half and getting into the semifinal round on Thursday. We'll take a short break. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
The Coon Rapids Cardinals able to persevere in the section quarterfinal. They were down 3-2, able to come back, get a pair of goals just 90 seconds apart in order to get past the Saints and on to the section semifinals. A great effort there by Soren Halverson to put the Saints up 2-1. Then Jasenek evened it on a PK. The Saints took the lead on a free kick. Alex Lynch tied it, and then Gail Tomboy gets in on a breakaway, scores his second of the game. And that one turns out to be the game winner. Those last two goals, again, coming just 90 seconds apart in just a much, much better second half of soccer for the Cardinals.
I think they got the ball at the feet of the people that needed to have the ball more often than they did the first half. And you could see what happened when you get the ball into your highly skilled people. They ended up with the ball in the back of the net, and well-deserved victory because of a very good second half by the Cardinals.
That means their season will continue. Semifinal round will be on Thursday. Do not know the results of the other contests, but most likely the Cardinals will be on the road to Duluth East to face the top-seeded Duluth Greyhounds. We, as CTN, will not be traveling to Duluth East, but should the girls soccer team get a victory tonight over Spring Lake Park, we would have their semifinal round on Thursday. Then on Friday, it's prep football as the Cardinals play their final Friday night game of the regular season on the road against Armstrong. That'll be live at 7 o'clock, and then next week, it's volleyball playoffs, and again, not able to bring those to you live. due to MSHSL regulations. But that's going to do it for this edition of CTN Sports. Again, the final score, it's Coon Rapids 4, St. Francis 3. Want to thank everybody out there for joining us. Want to thank Jeff DeJoy for joining me and being a part of the broadcast. You certainly brought a lot of soccer knowledge, and I appreciate it.
My privilege. Thanks for having me, and good job tonight, guys.
All right, well, thanks again for joining us and supporting everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, I'm Joe Young saying good night.